Sarah couldn't be here today because she's doing some care for her sister up in Kentucky. I do want to welcome all of you to this event. Last year, in the summer, we were given, as a Arts Council, Historical and Arts Council, we were given the opportunity to be involved in this, and it was just something that we took hold of very quickly and with great enthusiasm to see this through. The people on the committee were Sarah Smith and Jim Glock and Susan Wyman and Lori Ross. So those people saw this through, and Jim especially is to be commended for the wonderful research that he did. I'm not going to go into a great deal of detail, but I will just tell you very briefly that he found through all the historical records that he could possibly find, deeds, tax records, and land grants, and whatever else that he could get hold of. He got this information and brought it together in a wonderful article that tells about the original owner, Mr. Tate, who purchased the land through a land grant after the removal of the Cherokees. So it goes back into that, at least the 1850s, when this was taking place here. And he bought this property along with, 1,000 acres or more that went down to the river and so forth. And it records that he was the owner of slaves. And we know nothing about these people, whatever research that he has, unless you can tell us. Maybe you came up with something that we would be able to tag into. But anyway, he did find that, he validated that there were slaves here. And as far as what happened to these people or anything like that, he could not substantiate. But we need to just really give him credit and a great deal of honor as far as that's concerned, as far as being able to do this research and bring this to our attention. And the Arts Council did spearhead this, the Historical and Arts Council, and I urge myself to remember that it is not just an Arts Council, but Historical and Arts Council, and we are very, very interested and concerned about issues of this sort, and we are honored to be a part of making this possible. The inscription says that it is donated by the Historical and Arts Council along with members of the community, and that was a really heartwarming experience too, is to see the people who stepped up and said, I will donate, and I will donate, and I will donate. So it really made it possible for us to put not only the monument but the bench as well. And I appreciate Winnell so much for her interest in this. If it were not for her heart of compassion and for her sensitivity, for her appreciation for life and her appreciation for the value of these people, then this would not be happening. But this is her property, and she's the one who approached us and got this started. So we appreciate you, Winnell.
Thank you. I appreciate you. Well, I've tried to kind of individually welcome you, but I really, really want to welcome you here today, and especially because it's so cold and so many of you don't know us at all. I am Grinnell Hunter. This is my son-in-law, Andy Carter, and this is my son, Ryan Hunter. My daughter, Eden, and her 3 children are hiding from the cold in the house. I have a son, Ethan, and a daughter, Erin, who live in Wilmington and are here with us in spirit. Eden's trying to keep the little ones warm in there. This is our family's home. This is where my husband Donald and I raised our 4 children, and we moved here on my 30th birthday. The former owners were legally bound to disclose to us that there was a slave cemetery on our property. And the location of the cemetery did not disturb us, but it greatly disturbed us that the cemetery was not recognized or even known. And it looked just like all of this woodland around here. But I always believed that God had given us the responsibility of caring for and honoring this final resting place of this precious people. I knew, as all of you who are here today agree, that they were God's creation and precious in His sight. This cemetery area was woodland, and our children often played here. All of our family were aware of its location, and we keenly believed the precious people resting here had lived valuable lives.
Thank you.
Had died, and they mattered. Over the years, until my husband's death in 2005, Donna and I often discussed how it deeply burdened us that when we were both dead, our children grown, living somewhere else, no one would even know there was a cemetery here. So today, it is with great joy that our family witnesses the placement of this memorial marker and this bench on what is sacred ground. This past year, I spoke to Sarah Smith about the cemetery and our desire that it be officially recognized. Thank you, Ryan. Sarah carried my concerns to the Clay County Historical Arts Council, and after research, they moved forward with plans to purchase this memorial marker and bench because, as Sarah Smith said, it is the right thing to do. Our family owes a huge debt of gratitude to the Arts Council, to Reba Beck and Lori Ross, and to the following individuals for their important financial contribution to this memorial: Jim Glock, Susan Wyman, who is here today, raise your little paws. Tommy Jarrett, who is not here, but who wrote the inscription, which I think we need to read. In this area lie the remains of African American slaves whose identities and contributions are known but to God, who is the best one to know. He wrote this inscription, and then we had it placed on the memorial stone. His sister, Beth Jarrett Walton, raise your little paw, is here with us today. And Beth and Sarah, grew up down the road on Jarrett Road, and Jarrett Road used to come right up alongside this area previously to the time when this development was done. And Sarah, her sister Norma Wooden, Beth, and her brother Tommy often played in this area. And it was their warm memories of their childhood playing in this area that really pushed the emotional button forward to allow the Historical Arts Council to catch the vision. And I will just tell you the wonderful story that Tommy told me, that they played here often, and he became fascinated with it and went home one night and told his mother, Gladys Jarrett. Mr. Neil Jarrett was their father. He told his mother he was going to dig one of those graves up. And he said in all his life, and Tommy's a few years older than I am, he's never had such chewing out. And he said, to this day, it had left a deep impression on him. And because of that, he felt tremendous attachment for this area, for this cemetery, and he wanted very much to be a part of the recognition of it, and so did Beth, and I'm so grateful to you all for that. So I also want to thank Andy and his co-workers, Chris Yenny and Auden Thistle, for their hard work of clearing the trees from this cemetery area. It looked like back behind me, and they did a great job. Auden actually got hurt in the process.
Oh.
It is appropriate that we do this in a time when so many people are so often divided in our country on so many issues. It is a true celebration that our community is recognizing these beautiful people who lived here, who worked here, who may not have had much honor in life, but today we are honoring them. It is also appropriate that we as a group invoke God's blessing on this sacred ground by praying the prayer that Jesus taught his disciples. And so will you pray with me now the Lord's Prayer? Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. I thank you so much for coming. I am filled with joy. I just want to say that God bless our Arts Council, God bless the individual contributors, God bless all of you, and God bless our nation.
Thank you, ma'am.